Europe, a place known for its history, diversity, culture, food, and art. A place I visited way back in 2005, but I was only there for a brief week-long tour seeing 5 countries. This time my buddy Shaun and I will be spending 5 weeks exploring as much as possible. First stop is England to spend some time with my favorite people there, then on to Italy to see Rome, Pisa, and Florence. We then head to France, then Amsterdam. We arrive back in England for a week-long road trip, then off to Ireland, and then back to England for a few more days of fun before returning home. 5 weeks sounds like a lot, but with this schedule, there is no time to waste. So a little backstory for this trip: this will be my second time visiting Europe. I first visited back in 2005 with my friend Shaun and his wife Jessica, who I have been best friends with since high school. In 2015, I was inspired to become a travel filmmaker by fellow travel filmmaker Carl Watson. He and his friend James saved their money for 3 years and quit their jobs to travel the world for 9 months. Seeing his Peru film was the spark of inspiration I needed to begin my new path in life. Carl would be having a backpacker meetup in London that was timed perfectly for my visit. A backpacker meetup is a social gathering of fellow backpackers and travel filmmakers. I am also excited to see my friend and mentor Charlie, also known as Pocket Trailblazer, who has her own travel channel, as well as Nick and Amy, who have their own travel podcast called What the Faux Travel Podcast. My pen pal Heidi lives in England, and it will be wonderful to finally get to visit her for the first time. During my first film expedition in Peru, I met Mark and Keely, who were in my group on the Inca Trail. We would end up becoming very close friends and staying in touch. They also live in England, so it will be nice to reunite with them for the first time since Peru in 2016. But firstly, I'll be visiting and going on a local tour with my Instagram friend Steph, who has done lots of solo travel. She recently moved to London from the States. Boarding the plane to London. See you awesome Europeans soon.
This is a Piccadilly line service to Cockfosters.
After a brief hotel check-in, we headed back out to go on a Jack the Ripper tour with my buddy Steph from Instagram.
If you do remember anything though, remember this last one. Next time you hear the name Jack the Ripper, think of this not as the story of a man who hid in the shadows with a knife. Just try and remember it as the story of these 5 women, beaten down throughout their lives, who never ever got the justice that they deserved. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
I'm here with Strategic Steph. And what did we just do?
The Jack the Ripper tour in East London.
It was so awesome. Tell us a little bit about it, what we do.
It was really cool. So it's with Strawberry Tours. It's a free walking tour, so it's just pay what you wish. I'm in East London. It was a couple hours. But pretty interesting, all the whole history of Jack the Ripper. But the tour guide was incredible and really bringing the humanity into the story about the women that were murdered in that sense. But it was pretty creepy.
They took us on a lot of the streets and the areas where the murders happened. But yeah, like she was saying, Jack the Ripper is the glorified one, but he was more trying to show light on the actual victims because they kind of get forgotten in the whole thing. Yeah. So that was really cool. So, and thanks to Steph, she told me about the tour last minute when we came here.
They just arrived today. They're troopers.
I'm still tired. All right, everyone. Strategic Steph. Thank you again. So we're walking up the street to Tower Bridge. What time is it right now?
Yeah, it is midnight.
It is midnight. We just had an awesome time with our buddy Steph. Now, the bridge was closed anyway, so we're gonna go check it out. Tower Bridge was built between 1886 and 1894. The central span of the bridge can be raised to allow ships to pass. Over 40,000 people use Tower Bridge every day. The following day, we headed to Kent to meet up with my good friend Heidi. We have been pen pals for over a decade. This is the first time we are meeting in person. We're here with fucking Heidi! Yeah!
I'm going to take you the scenic route because it's so much more pretty and lots of fresh air.
She would take us to some of her favorite places in her local town of Maidstone, and later meet up with her friends and boyfriend Ollie for a little pub crawl. Okay, so we're having strong tea, right?
Very strong
So
tea.
explain to the viewers what strong tea is.
Strong tea is tea just with less milk in it.
Mom here in England.
Mom.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. Got a lot of packing to do.
A lot of packing, but you'll get it done, right?
Very nice to meet you.
You too.
Don't dance, stop singing.
Ye Old Thirsty Pig is a traditional alehouse that dates back from around 1430 and is the third oldest building in Maidstone at almost 600 years old. Oh! Do it, it's on film. England. London. No, where are we? Tell me exactly.
Maidstone.
We're in Kent, Medway, Kent.
2018.
Somewhere in Kent.
I don't know where the fuck I am.
From across the pond and back.
We're coming to invade your country, by the way.
The following afternoon, we would meet up with Mark and Keely for the first time since Peru. Me and Keely. 2018. Let's walk over here. Walk. Hey, we're on film.
Hi, Mom.
Oh, we just fucking met up. Where are we right now?
Yes, we're here.
London, mate.
London.
And where are we going?
We're going Spitalfields.
Spitalfields,
Oh, it's over here, back over there.
Spitalfield, what's over there?
Spitalfields Market. There's like food stalls and there's like some cool little shops and stuff. So we're gonna get some food.
Fucking delicious. After brunch, we stopped by Hamilton Hall Pub for a few pre-game beers before heading to Carl Watson's Backpacker Meetup. Carl Watson!
I'm here with motherfucking James. Where's James? He's right fucking here. How about that? 2018 motherfuckers.
Nick and Amy right here at What the Folk Podcast.
UK London.
It's fucking awesome. Check it out. Because I do so everyone else. Hello, Charlie. What do you have to say?
Right. I have to say, do what you want to do.
Always.
Always.
Alright, you ready, Jess?
Ready. Do it.
Alright, get the ball. 3, 2, 1, jog it. That's embarrassing. I actually tried that. You wanna have the rest of it? It's hard work. It's hard work doing it without me.
So how do you feel after that wonderful Jaeger bomb?
We'll have to do take 2.
So what's the deal here? So it's raining.
It is raining. It's wet out.
It's fucking pouring, and we're just under this. We're under this thing. So why don't you tell the viewers what's going on right now?
He's fucking pissing it down. I'm cold, I'm tired, I'm drunk, I'm hungry,
And
and I'm northern.
And sorry.
So it doesn't fucking count.
And it's raining, right?
Yeah.
Who gives a shit about the rain?
No, but we need the viewers.
Oh, watch out for cars! Quick. We're in the greatest taxi in the world. This guy is a fucking legend. Mr. Taxi Driver, what is your name? John. John the taxi driver is a legend.
Yes, he is.
Right.
Mate, look, listen, it's choices. You want to get in and take your life in your own hands, fucking good luck.
Yeah.
I think it's this one there on the right, boys, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah, that's it.
So if I turn left here, if I just drop you here, say going all the way around the houses.
That's fine.
With hangovers in full effect, we got to spend one more afternoon with Mark and Keely in London before our early flight to Italy the following day. We would see them again in a few weeks for our road trip adventure around England. Our last day in London before we head off to Italy tomorrow. So right now, it's time to grab a burger. 5 a.m. Got before off to Italy. on the plane. Italy.
Afternoon.
Hello.
Welcome aboard.
So we had a little delay on the flight. And last minute we got our gate. So now we're on the plane. Italy. See you soon. We are now in Italy. We should have been here at 10 in the morning, but because I screwed up, now we're here at 10 at night. So let's eat some food and pass out. And I'm on 3 hours sleep. So today was a long day. We got to the airport 40 minutes early, but you need to be there at least 50 for international flights, which was completely my fault for underestimating the time to get to the airport. And so we got our flight changed to 5 in the evening. It was delayed, so we didn't actually get here till after 10. The language barrier is a little difficult. Tomorrow we head to near the Colosseum to our other hotel in the center of Rome to begin the rest of the journey. So we ordered room service, and they gave us, I think it's eggplant that's cold and a pork chop, and it is absolute dog shit. This is probably the worst meal I've ever had in a foreign country. Plugs are different, of course. We're on the train for a few stops, and then we're going to go to the metro for a few stops, and then we'll be at the Colosseum. And that's right where our hotel is. We got on the wrong side. We got to go to the other side of the tracks in order to get the train. So we went one stop the wrong way. So now we're going to backtrack and 2 stops to the Colosseum. We just got up at the Colosseum stop, and we're going to walk to our hotel right now. Oh wow. So it's right there. This is the Roman Colosseum, everyone. They have military cars blocking it.
Ancient city of Rome, here we are. Got the Colosseum behind us.
So we just had some good gluten-free pizza, senza gluten. Now we are walking around the ancient city. Just gonna explore today, because tomorrow then we're gonna go to the Vatican, and the day after that we're gonna go to the Colosseum. So today is just a day to explore the city and just kind of get our bearings and kind of see how we want to strategize the rest of the trip. Okay, so this is the first scam artist, and this is his game. He first comes up to you and wants to know the time. Then he'll ask a few personal questions. Then he'll ask you for money. When you refuse, he'll quickly grab your wrist and tie a little bracelet on with very fine string. Then he'll demand that you pay for that. And when you refuse, he'll have to untie it from your wrist very angrily, and it makes things very uncomfortable.
Good luck. Thank you. Very happy looking. Thank you.
In the Roman Forum, they used to originally make all the rules for the Roman Empire in here. Whenever they come up with a new rule, it'd be made up in here.
The second scam artist makes his intro by singing a song and asks you where you're from and quickly puts his arm around you, then tells you to take pictures. Directly after, he demands money and gets upset and confrontational when you refuse.
What's your name?
Shaun.
Shaun.
Yes.
One more. Cheese. And you?
The Altare della Patria translates to Altar of the Fatherland and was built between 1885 to 1925 to honor Vittorio Emanuele II, who served as the first king of a unified Italy. The neoclassical monument is made of marble and features elaborate staircases, columns, fountains, statues, and a museum dedicated to Italian unification. It's commonly called the wedding cake and the typewriter by critics who protest its design and incongruity with the city's architecture. A bronze statue of Vittorio II on horseback is displayed in the center on top of the tomb of the unknown soldier with its eternal flame. The word pantheon is a Greek adjective meaning honor all gods. The pantheon was first built in 27 BC. It burned in the Great Fire of 80 AD, was rebuilt, but was struck by lightning and burned again in 110 AD. The Pantheon as we know it today was built in 120 AD. It was turned into a church in 609 AD. Its exact age remains unknown. The most fascinating part of the Pantheon is its giant dome with its famous hole in the top. Today, it remains the largest unsupported dome in the world. Rain occasionally falls through it, but the floor is slanted and drains the water if it manages to hit the floor. So we just got finished seeing the Pantheon. Now we're gonna get a beer. So we're having an early start and we're walking to the Vatican right now. We're going to take their little train station thing and that'll save us some walking time. So as you can see, right by the Colosseum, and it's be a 40-minute walk, otherwise we want to cut that in half.
Prossima fermata, Ottaviano, San Pietro, Museo Vaticano.
Oh yeah, skip the line pass. There's a huge line all the way around the corner. Pays to get the skip the line pass. Wow, airport security to go in. It's crazy. So if you have a bigger bag, they want you to check it in. So that's what we had to do. There's like a little check-in place for the bags, and they'll tell you that as you're going in. But we're bringing our camera and a tripod and our phones. So if you get the voucher thing on your phone, if you've paid on your phone, it has a little barcode. They won't let you through the little gates to actually get in yet. You have to go to the ticket counter and exchange that for tickets, just an FYI. We're going to get an audio guide.
So here we are at the Vatican.
So the first thing you notice, they chop their penises off. That's gotta hurt. Vatican City has a population of approximately 1,000 people. The Vatican is the smallest country in the world and the state is ruled by the Pope. 100% of the population is Catholic. The Swiss Guard is the official guard of the Vatican. One can only gain citizenship if they work there. When they stop working, they will lose citizenship. The gardens account for more than half of the land in Vatican City. 5.5 million people visit each year. The museums in Vatican City can be up to 9 miles long, and it was estimated that if someone walked through and spent 1 minute looking at each painting, that it would take 4 years to complete the whole museum. There are no hospitals in Vatican City.
The majestic reclining giant is a symbol of the river god in the classical style. According to some ancient sources, the black marble stands for the color of the mud deposited by the river, which gave Egypt's soil its legendary fertility.
It's insane. The mind can't wrap itself around how long or how you would do something like this. Look at this art. It's just, I have no words. It's incredible. The Sistine Chapel is recognized as having the most famous artistic accomplishment ever, which is the ceiling of the chapel painted by Michelangelo. It took 4 years for Michelangelo to complete the ceiling. 7,000 LED lights were added to illuminate Michelangelo's ceiling painting. They say don't take pictures in the Sistine Chapel, but everyone really does, so just do it till you get scolded. Oh man, you feel drained after seeing all that stimulation, all the just beautiful everything everywhere. So you need a break, you need to go outside. St. Peter's Basilica is the second largest church in the world and took 120 years to complete. The Mausoleum of Hadrian, usually known as Castle St. Angelo, was commissioned by Roman Emperor Hadrian as a mausoleum for himself and his family. Construction started in 135 AD and finished in 139 AD. The mausoleum is connected to the city by the Ponte St. Angelo Bridge. Its many statues were added later. Throughout the Middle Ages, the castle was a refuge for the popes in times of danger. Here we are at the Spanish Steps, live. 2018, Italy. Dual cameras, I think. So I guess we're gonna climb these steps. It's a hot day, but that's alright.
Here we are, walk up the Spanish Steps.
The Spanish Steps were built between 1723 and 1725. There are exactly 135 steps. They connect the Trinita del Monte Church with the Spanish Square below. The Piazza di Spagna at the foot of the steps is named after the Spanish embassy there, so the name simply extended to the steps. You are not allowed to eat food on the Spanish Steps, and they are also the widest stairway in Europe. In 2007, a drunk man attempted to drive a car down the Spanish Steps. Luckily, no one was hurt, but several of the 200-year-old steps were chipped and scuffed. The driver was arrested. Made it to the top of the Spanish Steps. It's a good workout. Not bad on a hot day like this. The Church of Trinità del Monte was built between 1502 and 1519. Trinità del Monte is one of 5 French Catholic churches in Rome and is part of the Fraternity of Jerusalem.
Trevi Fountain, here we go.
Trevi Fountain was built in 1732. The fountain dates back to the construction of the Aqua Virgo duct in 19 BC. It provided water to central Rome for more than 400 years. The fountain was built at the end of the aqueduct at the junction of 3 roads. These 3 streets, also called Trevi, give Trevi Fountain its name, the 3-Street Fountain. The legend holds that a coin thrown over your right shoulder into the fountain will ensure a return to Rome. 3,000 euros are swept daily from the fountain and are used for charity.
I'm gonna throw this coin in. Alright.
Guess who's coming back?
Took a little rest, and now we're going out for the evening to find some good eats. What have you got there?
Gelato and macaroons.
What flavor?
I got strawberry mango, and then strawberry and milk chocolate.
So this is how you cross streets here. You just fucking go. That freaks me the fuck out. God damn. So fucking weird. That scares the shit out of me every time. On the way to the Colosseum. Just dropped off our laundry, so it should be done by 6 p.m. So that'd be good. Give us plenty of time to go there because it's noon right now. Crowded everywhere. It's crazy. Everyone is trying to sell us a skip the line tour with their tour. They say if you go on a tour, you get to skip the line. So like, it's been 5 times people approached us already. It's kind of funny. Yeah. Again, right here. See? Yeah. Again. So they almost convinced us, but fuck that. We'll just we'll wait. We don't want to do any of that shit.
They make you seem like they work for the Colosseum, but then you find out that they're actually a guy trying to sell you their tour.
This is the line to skip the line. Airport security, again. The Colosseum is Rome's most popular monument. It was built between 72 and 80 AD and is still the largest amphitheater in the world. It was designed as a gift to the people of Rome. 60,000 Jewish slaves built the Colosseum in 9 years. Games played in the Colosseum have taken the lives of over 400,000 people and over 1 million wild animals. The earthquakes of 847 and 1231 AD caused most of the damage you see today, as all of the southern side of the Colosseum collapsed and was restored later on.
How do you feel about being at the Colosseum?
It's amazing. It's a big structure, ancient structure. We're going to explore it some more.
Heck yeah.
Up we go. Second story time. The Colosseum could seat between 50 and 80,000 people and is one of the 7 wonders of the world. 4 million tourists visit the Colosseum each year. Sometimes the wooden floor of the Colosseum was removed and the lower cells beneath would be filled with water for mock naval battles to take place. just finished up with the Colosseum. It's awesome. The architecture is amazing, all the history there. But the problem was it was way too crowded. And there's also an area on the 3rd level where you can go, and we were not allowed up there unless you make a reservation. And then you weren't allowed in the area where the gladiators would have been held underneath. You can't go down there either. So that was my issue with the places. You couldn't really go to the really cool places that you wanted to go to. And with the crowds, it limits everything as well. So, you know, like I said, if we had the tour, it would have probably added more to the experience, but it's a little overrated in my opinion. You know, with all the crowds and just not being able to go where you want to go. So there's a lot of pros and cons to this, and I'd say more cons, but all around, it's a beautiful place, at least worth experiencing just to check it out for yourself. And I suggest getting a tour, and also make reservations in advance so you can get to that 3rd story if you want to just get a better view of everything. Dude got arrested right now. I don't know what he did, but oh, got caught stealing. Busted.
Don't steal in Rome.
Don't fucking steal here, man.
That'll happen. We're pounding our beers so we can go into the Forum because they don't allow drinking.
So we have to do our duty because we don't like to waste.
No, wasting's bad. By the way, if you buy a ticket for the Colosseum, know it works for the Forum too, so you don't need to buy another ticket. Note to self.
We're in Roma, you get the fucked up, huh? We're in the Forum. One beer in already. The Forum was used by Rome's elite for over 1,400 years from 800 BC to 680 AD. Most of the buildings were destroyed in 410 AD during the fall of the Roman Empire. Buildings in the Forum include banks, temples, public baths, and markets. The Roman Forum remained undiscovered until 1803. It's around 7 o'clock. We're getting kicked out of the Forum. We got some really good time lapses of right behind me, the Colosseum. Way better than you could get on the ground. This place was the biggest surprise. I was talking a lot of trash about this place. Like, oh, I don't want to go there, but yeah, I was wrong. It's very amazing. It's got a lot of good stuff for pictures. Highly suggest. Exceptional. Yeah! You're amazing. Your car? Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Grazie.
Ah, Grazie.
One for you, one for you. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Where do you come from?
California.
Ah, America. Yeah, first time Italy.
First time.
First time. Thank you so much. Okay, now that place. Oh, what's it called? Restaurante Pizzeria.
Wow.
Holy shit. That was exquisite excellence. The definition of excellence was that place. Highly recommend. So we had an interesting wake up. We thought it was at 2, but it was actually at 11 for checkout, so we're scrambling to get ready, and we did, and they didn't charge us, so that's pretty cool. Now we're taking a taxi to the train station so we can go to Pisa. Here's what we need. So you gotta go to the 3rd floor to activate your tickets, and we're waiting in the line right now. So when you see one of these, before you enter any train, when you know the train you have to validate your ticket. Even though you've already paid for it, you put your ticket in here and it'll validate it. So you actually need that on the train. So make sure if you're traveling on these Italian trains, validate your ticket when you get down to the platform. Don't forget, because they check in the trains. Made it to Pisa. A lot of crazy train rides and running from train to train. Yeah, a lot of rushing and confusion, but we made it. Oh, we're waiting for our room to be made, and then we're gonna go grab a bite to eat later. Oh, so tired. Leaning Tower of Pisa. We can see it from our hotel. Made it!
Alright, Leaning Tower of Pisa. You know why it does that? Why it's leaning?
The Leaning Tower of Pisa is a bell tower famous for its tilt to one side. The tower's foundations were built on soft subsoil which had difficulty supporting the tower's weight. When the 2nd story was started, the lean became noticeable and only got worse as construction continued.
Whoa, Carmen Sandiego! I found you!
I love everyone's different poses that they're getting. We're at the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and we got our hilarious pictures that everyone gets where you're holding it up, which I'll put down in the corner right now. Yeah, so we're gonna just check this out, grab a bite to eat after. Leaning Tower. Construction started in 1173 and was completed in 1372. The war stopped construction for almost a century, which gave the underlying soil time to settle and compact. If construction had not halted, the tower would most likely have toppled. The original architect of the tower has never been verified. We soon met up with our friend Nellie, who we met at the train station. I'm here with Nellie from Paris, and she is giving us some awesome facts on all of these amazing structures right here.
First level is Roman architecture. That was it was common in Western Europe in the years 1000. It took them more than 100 years to build it. So by the time they got to the 2nd level, 2nd story, then the architectural style already changed. It changed to Gothic architecture on the 2nd level, and everything is full of details as well. So the pinnacles, it's typical element from Gothic architecture, and inside the pinnacles you have all those beautiful decorations with stones. That's so typical of Gothic architecture.
The Pisa Cathedral is a Roman Catholic cathedral devoted to the Virgin Mary. Pisa Cathedral was built from 1063 to 1092. Pope Colosseum II consecrated the cathedral in 1118. After enjoying the sunset, we all headed for dinner before departing the next day. We would see Nellie again when we headed to France. So we had issues with our hotel. So basically there's a festival in Pisa, which I did not know, and every hotel was booked, and our When we booked our hotel, we booked for 2 nights, but it only gave us 1 night and did not charge our credit card, so left us kind of stranded in Pisa. Every hotel, out of 26 pages of hotels, all of them are booked. So we're gonna go to Florence. Yeah, we're gonna go to Florence, which is like an hour away on the train, and then we're gonna come back tomorrow and do the Cinque Terre. We might not do all 5 towns, but we're just gonna do a couple just to get the experience. So yeah, it was a lot of searching for hotels, but we got lucky and found one in Florence. So. Finally, off all the trains, on the way to the hotel. My bag's starting to rip, so I might need to buy a new one. Fettuccine Alfredo with black truffles. Welcome to the Duomo something building. The Cathedral of Florence, but better known as the Duomo, is the main church of Florence. It translates to Cathedral of St. Mary of the Flowers. The cathedral was begun at the end of the 13th century, while the dome was added in the 15th century. The foundation stone for the cathedral was laid in 1296, but only the foundation was completed before the Black Death Plague killed almost 4/5 of the population of Florence. It is the 4th largest church in the world. Yes, smoothies. If you took cotton candy and heaven and mixed it together, you'll get this. The Ponte Vecchio Bridge is a medieval 3-arch bridge over the Arno River with shops built along it. Butchers mainly occupy these shops, but now jewelers, art dealers, and souvenir sellers lay claim. The original bridge was built before 990 AD, and the current bridge was rebuilt in 1345 to withstand being destroyed by floods.
This is love right here. This is what love looks like. The right way, the Italian way. Oh. Exactly what he said. What did you say? Yes, it's gelato.
So today we're going to do the Cinque Terre hike, but we're not going to do all 5 towns because that would be too rushed, and yeah, the train takes, I think, over 2 hours to get there each way. We're using our rail pass to use the train system today, so let's hope it works out smooth. And it's Cinque Terre. Cinque Terre is a national park and means 5 lands. It is located on the Italian Riviera. All the towns are starting, and there's 5 of them, so we're going to go to the farthest one, and because that's apparently one of the coolest ones. Then we're going to make our way back down and see which ones we want to hit on the way back. But we're around noontime right now already, so we got to use our time wisely. The 5 villages are Monterosso al Mare, Vernazza, Corniglia, Manarola, and Riomaggiore. The very first town. Vernazza, but not our stop. There are no cars in Cinque Terre. We are here in Montesoro. We're gonna grab a bite first, I think, and then go right to the beach. Wow. Monterosso is the largest of the 5 coastal villages. It has the only extensive sand beach in the Cinque Terre. Hello. For 2? Oh. Okay, so we've gone to fucking 5 or 6 restaurants and everyone just says no, full. Woo-hoo. Got a place. Swim time.
We're in Cinque Terre at the Monterosso, at the beach, the Mediterranean Sea.
Love it. It's amazing, look at this.
It's so salty.
Very salty, very buoyant. For hiking, there are many routes of different difficulty. The shortest hike between all 5 villages can take you around 5 hours, while the longest will take you over 12.
That's a crazy beach, huh?
Very crazy.
Very cool. Just the saltiest water I've been in.
Everyone's trying to get from one place to the other, so they're crowding the trains. So when we go back tonight, it's gonna be wild because that's gonna be one of the last trains that everyone's gonna be fighting to get on. Insanity. This insanity. It's almost like at the end of a baseball game or a concert when everyone's leaving right at the end. It's like it's insane. I think we might have to skip the first town. We originally wanted to do the first town, but the train stopped at 7. So unless we want to stay here until Monday, we'll probably have to just leave after this because I don't want to risk it. Oh man, underestimated how crowded this place would be. Vernazza is situated around a small harbor and is overlooked by an old tower on a cliff. The Church of Margaret dates back to the 14th century. Wow. All right. Oh shit. Time to go. Oh shit, jellyfish. Oh fuck. Jellyfish, fuck yeah. Oh, that's pretty fucking gross. I don't know if I want to go all the way. But we are. Get ready. Woo! Always love me a good swim. It's too bad we can only spend one day here. Well, a few hours, but man, this place, you'd want to spend at least three days or more here. And I look forward to getting that line just to get up the fucking stairs. One of the last trains, everyone is like pushing to get in. It's fucking insane. It's kind of scary because people might get left behind if they don't do it right now. Wow. They serve alcohol with their coffee here. I guess the artist, you win the prize. See you later, Modi. I feel sorry for the poor soul who has to sit on this seat. Italian train bathrooms. Our last night in Italy, we're at Giotto Pizza. It's probably some of the best pizza we've had, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. Can't top this pizza and their beer.
Alright viewers, you have to fold the very bottom end. And then you fold it. And you eat. The version of a panini. This tiramisu is just heaven. This might easily be my favorite place to eat in Italy. It's amazing. They have a wood fire oven, beautiful atmosphere. Hello. Amazing. It is the best beer. That is amazing. That Munich Gold. Giotto, the best pizza in Italy. I love it. Thank you so much. It's a true pleasure. I'm going to shake your hand one more time. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. So that pizza was... I'm going to just say it was my favorite of Italy. The owner was amazing, but the other guy that was there, I wish I knew your name. Sorry, dude. I will find your name somehow. Just made us feel at home. You know, he was so cool. The food was just
amazing recommendations.
Yeah. Words can't. It was like a symphony of flavor and perfection. I wanted to get a picture with the owner and the other guy, so we had them come outside, and they were so cool and did that with us. Got a wonderful picture with them and shook their hands, and that was like the biggest honor. And these are the type of encounters where people are genuine to you, where you remember this in your heart and your soul forever, and you're just grateful to spend time and to know people like that. It goes such a long way. You got to put your key in here to work the lights. On the way to Paris, we got like a 12-hour ride, and then we're gonna be there around 10ish or 11 maybe. Gonna get a hotel for a few hours, then check into our Airbnb after that. So, long train ride ahead. So we had an interesting turn of events. So we were supposed to take our rail pass from Italy to France, but France is having, their train stations are having strikes. All the workers are striking, so we couldn't take the train into France. And that was a bit of a problem. But also the railway thing, we had a Euro pass, but those are an issue because it sounds all good, but there's some trains where you actually have to pay a fee still. The Euro pass doesn't really cover it all the way, so you still have to pay money. And you have to just know these things because there's a bunch of different trains, and you just know that and go pay fees and other stuff. But also, in order to go through Switzerland, you're not allowed to. The pass doesn't cover that. So as far as Switzerland goes, it's very confusing. You have to add that to your rail pass,
even though you're not going to it.
Yeah, so even though you're not going to, you still have to add it to your rail pass, and you have to pay a full fee for it.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's extra country, so an extra fee.
Okay, so yeah, it's an extra country, so you basically have to pay. You basically have to, in other words, buy a ticket over again, which is very expensive through Switzerland. So you have all these extra costs. We can't get into France.
Reservation fees.
Yeah, reservation fees. We can't get into France, so we just bought a plane ticket. The problem with that is we got here. Our flight's at 9:30. We got here at like 2 or 3, so we got to wait for that. And then we land in France around 11-ish, and our Airbnb isn't until the following day at 2 p.m. So that's a shitload of hours just waiting in the airport. So we got to figure a way how we're going to deal with that. So maybe we're going to try and get in touch with the Airbnb and see if maybe we could drop our bags off early or something like that. So it'll be very interesting. I'll keep you guys posted. Continues to get weirder and crazier. Getting on the plane to Paris. It's 9-something at night. We'll be there late, but at least we're getting on the flight. I'm in the middle fucking sea.
On the way to Paris.
And next time we head to France, followed by Amsterdam. Made it to Paris. Top Eiffel Tower, champagne. That's how you beat escargot. Night bus into Amsterdam. Bunny. Good fresh Heineken.